Welcome, everybody. My name is Teresa James, and we are intentionally healthy because we're done thinking. We're all here because we want to be intentional about our health, our happiness, and our well-being. And we're all in the process of changing habits incrementally, 1% habit changes at a time that will accumulate to powerful lifelong changes for ourselves and by natural extension, our families, our communities, our social circles, and our work environments. I'm going to share my screen and let's get started. There we go. So, oh, this is not Coach Crew Huddle. I have that wrong. This is intentionally neat. Isn't that awesome? I love that picture. Because we're diving in to learning about how to be intentionally neat. Until very recently in history, here, let me move us down. Until really recently in history, neat was an integral part of our daily lives. They estimate that we used to walk, or not walk, but moved about 300 minutes a week. And in today's life, if we're an active person, we get 300. If not, it's about 150, even less. When we had, back in the day, we had a lot of physical activity. There was, everything that we did was physical. We didn't have labor-saving tools at all. We made bread, we farmed the land, we walked or rode horses everywhere. NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's just the normal stuff that we do at a comfortable, easy pace, just basic human things, using our body the way it was supposed to be used. Walking, reaching, carrying, lifting, bending, sitting for a little bit, standing, walking, typing, brushing our teeth, washing dishes. So, what is so bad about just sitting? Public health experts say that sitting is now the new smoking. It's something that we do all too much of without really grasping what the long-term health effects of it are. When you're sitting, your muscles are inactive and your body isn't able to manage blood glucose normally. And that contributes to a metabolic syndrome, the inability to maintain healthy blood glucose levels, which leads to abnormally high blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer, specifically colon cancer, rectal cancer. We're sitting. Sitting for just 3 or more hours per day, and think about that. If you're just sitting 3 or 4 more hours a day, it increases your risk of all of those diseases, and it cuts your life expectancy by 2 years. That's if you're sitting 3 or more hours. Americans sit an average of 9.5 hours a day, and some people are sitting as long as 15 hours a day. That's longer than we sleep at night. So what is NEAT and why is it important? There are 3 important things that it does. It encourages your body to move more often, as we were intended to do. We were never intended to just sit. It increases our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, which is just the energy our body uses to support itself. And it reduces the mortality rate. Even exercise enthusiasts will find that EAT is exercise activity, is contributing to daily caloric consumption, and that pales by comparison to the power of NEAT. Our society's decreased level activity and resulting decrease in NEAT has been blamed on a great shift from manual labor to sedentary desk jobs. Desk jobs in particular promote this because they require that people sit for more hours in a day than is healthy for your body. So what happens when we have so many labor-saving devices? This is from a movie that my kids loved. It was called WALL-E, and they live on this ship out outer space because we've destroyed the United States, or the world, the earth. And there are machines that do absolutely everything for them, and they float around on these things. They don't touch each other, they don't communicate, they are completely on screen time. And I laugh about how close we are to that. You think about all of the labor-saving devices that we have, what the information age did on top of the industrial age. Our vacuums, we have Roombas now, you know, the dishwasher, the washer, dryer, sewing machine, compactor, food processor, electric toothbrush, cars, potato peelers, can openers, all of those things. 86% of all Americans sit down all day long, and that statistic was before COVID-19. 60% of Americans don't get any type of regular physical activity, and 25% get no activity to speak of. The fact is that if you focus alone on a workout, it's a terrible way to burn calories and lose weight if that's what you're trying to do. They looked at a study of over 60 different studies on exercise and weight loss, and it turns out that it's really hard to create a significant calorie deficit just by working out. And it often backfires by causing people to unknowingly eat more. So how do we sit less and move more? So I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff. This is stuff that we can do at the office. When people get in their work zone, they often lose track of time, not realizing that they've been sitting in one spot, working longer than they should have been. That happens to me all the time. When I started doing the research for this, sorry, I'm trying not to do but you know, it's happening anyway. I thought, what can I do to help myself so that I'm not going for these long things? And I found this cool thing called a Pomodoro timer. Pomodoro is tomato in Spanish, Italian, and you know those tomato timers, that the kitchen timers, and it's just that simple thing. And I can explain Pomodoro later. I don't want to go too much into detail, but it's the idea of set a timer for 25 minutes, and then you have a short break, and it sets for 5 minutes, and an alarm goes off. You get up and you move around, and then you set it again for the 25. So you work through your day like that, 25, 5, 25, 5, 25, 5, and then take a 45-minute break instead of 5. So you go through 3 segments like that. So you're actually working 5 hours if you add all the 25s up. But they've done studies that you actually get more work done than somebody who has an 8-hour day without all of those breaks. And then there's all sorts of things to do while you're sitting at your desk. I'm going to go really quickly through them. March in place, sit and stand. That's just the act of stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, sit in your chair. Stretching, dancing. You can dance right from your chair. Plyometric jumps, you know what to do on your breaks. Do you know what a plyometric jump is? It's a jumping jack. But that sounds a lot cooler, doesn't it? You can skip. Just pretend that you're skipping rope. Do some push-ups. I am not a push-up person, but I can do a push away on a wall. And at some point, maybe I'll be doing them on my knees. You can do squats. Stand.
Can
Yes.
I interject real quick?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the video, I got up and I removed my old office chair and I replaced it with what I'm sitting on now.
You're bouncing.
And I have a exercise ball chair.
Nice.
Something that was recommended to me to be able to get more movement. And so even as
on a donut?
It's on an exercise ball actually.
Right, but is it ball on a donut so that it doesn't?
Well, it's on a donut, but it's on office chair wheels.
Oh, cool. Oh, so you can move around on it.
Here.
Snap. That's cool. Rock on.
Okay.
All right.
And so
now I know what I want to go get.
It's awesome. I found it online. But even as I'm sitting here, I find myself not sitting back in the back chair.
Yep.
And having to engage my core.
Right. Because you have to balance.
Yep. But I can move as I'm working or as I'm doing something or as I'm reaching.
Right.
whatever, that type of thing. And so I'm gonna, that movement is one of my goals for, especially for the last couple of weeks. And so for me, when I'm working and doing everything within the office, that's what I want to try. So I'll have to let you know how that goes.
One of the things for standing is to be on it's a platform that has a little half ball underneath. And so you're constantly adjusting.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just wanted to share that's a very simple change that somebody can do who works in an office to be able to get that type of movement that you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Get a whiteboard in your office. You have to stand up to go write things on the whiteboard. Have standing meetings with your colleagues. If you have to talk to somebody, walk over to their space instead of just calling them or sending them an email. Just walk. Fidgeting is a really good thing to do. Fidget. The more you fidget, you can increase your energy expenditure 20 to 30% above just doing nothing, just by fidgeting. Tap your pencil, move. Take a walk on your lunch break. How about a standing desk? See this stool? That is a very cool stool because that also makes your back stand up and you can rock forward and sideways. I actually went out and purchased a standing desk that it's a corner desk last night. We went up to Seattle. It took us 4 hours, but it was an awesome thing. My husband and I are both going to standing desks. How about a bike desk? I'm looking into that so that I can move that bike out and move the bike back in when I want to do something more. But see how that extends? This is the same desk that I just got. What about a treadmill desk? I just found on Facebook, it's amazing how Facebook knows exactly what it is that I'm looking for, because now I'm getting ads for treadmills that will fit under a desk.
It's because your phone listens in on your conversation.
Yes, ma'am. So now I've got a treadmill to do. I found this girl, an article that she wrote, and she wrote some things about why they gave her this treadmill to try for 30 days. And she thought, I'll give it a try. So these are the things that she learned. Number one, she stopped dreading the office as much. And obviously that's pre-COVID. We all have our offices at home now. But she said it was like moving from black and white to color. I smiled a lot. I even looked forward to going into the office. I was so much happier. I just felt better at work. Another huge thing, her back stopped hurting. Before her treadmill, she hurt every day. And I used to think it was because I was overweight that my back hurt so much, but I am that size now and my back still hurts because I'm sitting too much and I need to do something about it. Her back, she was going to an acupuncturist, she was going to a chiropractor, and then within a week, she didn't need to do that anymore. Her pain was gone. 89% of users acknowledge at least one health benefit associated to walking while working. She became closer with her personal manager. She was feeling more emotionally expansive. She got new ideas all over the place. She realized it was easier to stop reacting defensively, and she actually felt more receptive to input from her boss. She actually wanted to get up early to exercise. She felt energized. She got up in the morning and she was rejuvenated and felt really good about exercising. She could fall asleep easier. She even put more care into getting dressed in the morning because she wasn't having to run out the door because she was late. She had more physical energy in the morning and throughout the day. She said, I was almost jealous of my new self. I was like a stranger that I didn't know. She actually didn't feel bad when she didn't work out because she was getting this exercise, and she used to beat herself up if she didn't do workouts 2 or 3 times a week, but she didn't beat herself up for that anymore. She realized that her abs started emerging and her core was stronger, and it was easier to exercise off treadmill. And she realized her posture was improving. She had more energy later in the afternoon. She actually, when her month came up to being done, she got panicked. She decided that if they weren't going to just give her that treadmill, she was going to buy it, because she just could not go back to working the same way that she had before. I think that's pretty incredible.
Well, when you work out, it releases endorphins.
It does. And that makes you feel
you
better.
It's, you know, when somebody's laughing, that is endorphin.
Yep.
You know, that type of thing. So that completely makes sense why her entire outlook of the day changed.
Yeah. So what can you do if you don't have a standing desk? I saw this for kids. It was a mom doing this with her kids, and she just put a whole bunch of different things on her spoons, and the kids would just draw a spoon, and when they had a little break, this is what they go do. You could do that. There are chair exercises that you can do. Let me go down. Calf toning. Just raise your legs up to the very tips of your toes or your calves by remaining seated. Clinching, ankle rotations, arm stretches. Feel the stretch for 5 seconds. Do this and just really stretch. Rotate from the waist. I have my watch will tell me it's time to move and rotate. Doing crunches. Lean back on your backrest and lift your straightened legs up a few inches off the ground. Leg lifts. All sorts of wonderful things that you can do when you're just sitting in your chair. Here are some other neat things. Yes, Carrie.
Right, wasn't there a like in the 80s an exercise routine for seniors that was all about sitting?
Probably. I don't remember.
You know, do you remember, Sharon? Do you remember what I was talking about?
There are many exercises available for seniors sitting in chairs. They do them. They'll actually do them at the senior centers. They'll get the groups together and do the chair exercises where they exercise the arms and the legs and
But I think if you were to look those up, you could, you know, maybe copycat some of those exercises.
Absolutely.
And if you're sitting and you feel like you want to, you know, maybe keep a light set of weights or something like that at your desk that you can add, you know, when you're doing that type thing. But
good idea. I have some wrist weights and leg weights, and you can just put those in your drawer and just slip those on and do your thing. So one of the other ideas is to, wherever you're going, to church, the store, you know, school, dropping the kids off, wherever you're going to park, our normal tendency is to get as close to the entrance as possible. Park the furthest away. Park the furthest away. Instead of taking the elevator, you know, some people work in high rises, so get close to the floor you need and then walk the rest of the way. But try not using the escalators, those ramps that move at the airport. Anything that you can think of to do that gets you extra exercise is good. So habit stacking is one of those things. If there's something that you want to do, there's this guy who was the most incredible thing. He said most people are getting in and out of their car at least once a day. Every time you're getting in your car, add movement. Do some plyometric jumps, jumping jacks, or lunges or squats, hip hinges. Do something. If you're going on a long road trip, do squats in between. So that's called habit stacking, and it's whatever you're doing that's a routine of something that you do already and you want to add something else to it, pair it, match it. I have a friend, Rich Himmer, who does the Authentically You podcast, and every time he gets into his car, he turns the car on so that it can warm up, and then he spends 2 minutes, a minute, something like that, doing some mindfulness. He does deep breathing, the 4 seconds in, hold it, and blow out for 8 seconds. And while he's doing that, he thinks about what his day is, and he gets himself into a positive attitude. But it's every time. So it's when he's starting the car to go to work, and then when he starts the car to go home. Wash your own car. Don't just go to the car wash. clean everything. You're burning extra calories while you're doing that. And it's a fun thing to make a game out of the cleaning. See how fast you can get something done. How fast can you wash your car? How fast can you vacuum? Can you balance on one leg or on the other? When you sweep your house, can you grip the broomstick? You're going to break it. It gives yourself some extra arm stuff. When you're doing your laundry, do jump shots with the clothes into the top loader.
That's good.
You know, get yourself a laundry basket so that you can tuck, not your folded clothes, obviously, but fun. Dance while you're doing whatever you're doing. I mean, how cool is that? Put some really fun music. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't need your brain, put some music on that makes your body just go and dance.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
I remember growing up, my mom would always listen to like the oldies, you know what I mean, 50s, 60s, 70s type music.
Yeah.
I remember her vacuuming, just, you know, rocking out to whatever song was on. And to this day, even when she comes to visit and she puts on oldies music, it gets my kids in that same frame of mind where you almost want to clean to the beat of the music.
Right. And if you put something on that's really fast, your cleaning goes faster. You have more fun. You're laughing. Why does it have to be drudgery? Yeah. Excellent. So this summer, mow your own lawn. Maybe get a push mower. I know Sharon does a ton of yard work because it's therapeutic. Yeah. It is meditative, but it's also a lot of work, and you can get a lot of neat exercise in when you're doing that. So there's our laundry, and it's wonderful. Every time I'm doing laundry, I grab my grandkids and have them come and help me, and then I walk them up the dryer so they can get on top and push the on buttons, because that's fun for them. But then having them help, you know, fold it too.
Well, and you're teaching them new habits by teaching them how cleaning your house is fun.
Yep.
And, you know, that type of thing. And that's going to affect them when they get older. And I'll tell you what, going into a relationship with somebody who has personal hygiene and personal care habits like that they're constantly doing laundry, or, you know, nobody wants to be or have that messy roommate in college, you know, that kind of thing. So
it's also nice to be able to do it together and to show someone else it's not a horrible thing to do, you know. When you're at the grocery store, even if you don't need something down that aisle, walk down it anyway. You know, I would avoid the candy aisle, the chips aisle, because everything actually on the inside of the grocery store is processed food. But if you're there to get stuff around the outside, your meats and your vegetables, then just go through the aisles. It gives you, you know, what does it take? An extra 10 minutes? It's inside, it's air conditioned, and it's easy. When you're cooking, this guy I found, he is so cute. He goes, when I cook, I like to squat deep and grab a pan out of the cabinet. When I'm reaching for the spices on the shelf, I throw in a push-up. When I'm waiting for the vegetables to steam, I simply bounce or fidget in place while I'm reading or going on social media. The point is, while I'm cooking, I am not standing still. For those times when I'm eating out, I fidget in line by bouncing on one foot for a bit and then switch it up. Sometimes I'll squat while waiting for my microwave to finish nuking. Can you imagine watching somebody? Boy, he's like ADHD. That would be me too. When walk when you can instead of driving. We don't live in that kind of a place. We're, you know, out in the country, and you can't really do that. But wherever you can possibly walk, go and do that. Stand on the bus instead of sitting. And when you get to a bus stop, your bus stop, get off 1 or 2 stops later and walk back. I just threw the cow in, or because I thought that was funny. Flipping through actual pages in a book is actually neat exercises rather than just sitting there with a device. It's better to be reading an actual book. Go for a walk with your friends. It's a hard thing for us in this COVID because we're so isolated, but you can walk with your friend and they're like 3 feet apart, which is like what you have on an airplane, right, Sharon?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
meet a friend. Even if they're a little nervous about it, you guys can walk 6 feet apart and you can still talk to each other. So,
Or everybody always has those earbuds.
right?
You know what I mean? So
So-
they walk around the block at their house and you walk around the block at your house and you're on the phone with each other.
Right. I do that with my brother. He lives in Seattle, 2 hours away from me. So I call my brother, hey, I'm going for a walk. You want to go? So call a friend and go for a walk with somebody that you haven't talked to for a long time. Just pick the phone up and talk with somebody you haven't talked to for a long time. It's great social stuff. Play with your kids or your grandkids. I couldn't find a picture of wrestling on the bed, but that's what I do with my grandkids, and it poops me out. I am so tired afterward because they are so stinking active. But get your kids involved and stuff. Get a dog. I had a dog. My dog is buried at Carrie's house.
At my house.
Yep,
Oh.
yep. My dog, we came back home and my dog passed away while we were gone, and Carrie took care of my dog. And I don't know if I have the heart to get another dog right now, but having a dog is very cool. You take that dog out to walk and you do fun things with that dog.
We have some friends, she used to call her dog her fuzzy treadmill.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
My
that's
fuzzy
adorable.
treadmill. I love that. So get up and dance around in your house. I love that picture in the center. That was fun. One of the things that I saw on Facebook, because they like the things that I'm doing. I have a dance groove. I do this in my house. It's a dance groove video, and I get to move however I want to move. And then she says, okay, now stop and do this. So I stop and do that. But I get to dance and move, and it's not this routine like Zumba where everybody has to do the same thing, and that frustrated me. I saw a thing about couples who don't have rhythm. My husband has no rhythm. He doesn't like to dance. And I said, please get this for me. Let's do this to have dance lessons in our home. It'll be super good for us as a couple. And I haven't got it yet, but I'm getting it.
Is that the date night dancing or something like that?
I can't remember what it's called. I have to talk to my phone again and then it'll start popping up.
Okay.
So this guy, when he watches TV, he doesn't just watch TV. He lies down on his couch and he stretches out his muscles. He stretches his back, his shoulders, his legs. He never just sits down and watches TV. He's active. And so I went and got all of these couch activities. This guy looks so much like my son-in-law, but he's doing activities while he's watching TV. It's just a mind shift for something that you can do.
Don't change it. I'm writing those down.
Okay. Another thought is just turn the TV off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I rarely turn mine on.
Right.
I think maybe I've had it on 3 or 4 times this week. I don't turn it on.
We just don't have the time. I don't have the time for it. I'm just way too active. Turn those extra TV hours into physical and mental activities that will actually help you.
My problem is sitting at the computer because I have a few things that I take care of, with my seroptomist, or I still manage some of the yacht club insurance tracking. And so I'm constantly sitting at my computer. So the computer ones are the ones that I need, because instead of TV, I'm, other than being out in the yard and active,
Well, with my kids going back to school, we have the option of going back full-time, part-time, or just homeschool. And my kids are going to be spending more time at school. And without having that transport time between them and the school, they end up watching TV every day, and I'm trying to limit it to an hour. But what this just gave me an idea was, before they get the remote, they have to complete those exercises.
Or on the commercials, have them do these.
On the commercials, that's a good idea.
So habit stack. That commercial comes on anyway. The trailer at the beginning of a movie or the credits after the movie. Habit stack, all of that. Something that they're already doing. Stack a habit, do these things.
Good idea.
So it took me, I tracked how much time it took me to put all of this together, and I have been at the computer for between 20 and 22 hours to do this presentation.
Wow.
And it's interesting that this inspired me. In the middle of it, I went on Craigslist, found a standing desk, and went up to Seattle yesterday to get it, because I realized that I'm an active person, but I've been sitting for an awful long time. And I love doing this. I love creating something that might help somebody else and teach someone else. And it helps me, because the teacher learns more than the student. Sorry, I just learned more than you did. But I just realized that I need to do something about it. So track your steps. Track your steps with a watch or whatever. I started couch to 5K, C to 5K, couch to running a 5K and it just starts you off, run 1 minute, okay, stop and do brisk walk for 1 minute, run 1 minute, walk 1 minute. And I take my grandkids, and the first day, they didn't want anything to do with it. I don't think so. They went with me, and then the second day, it's, when are we going? When are we going?
Oh,
and I had a thing yesterday at 8, and so I couldn't go right at 8. I had to have them wait until 9. And they were like, is it 9 yet? Is it 9 yet? And they are running when I'm running, and they're walking. It's just active, and they absolutely love it. So I would recommend finding something that you want to do, set a goal, set it with somebody that invite somebody else. You can do it if they're somewhere else with a Bluetooth, and you can be walking together, or invite somebody. But when you have somebody else that's expecting you, like my grandkids, you can't get out of it as easy, and it makes it easier for you to say, yeah, okay, I'll go. I have other things that I should do instead, but I need to go. So that's an invitation. So instead of just going to the movies or going to a restaurant and sitting, do some other active activities for entertainment. I love the old tennis player and the woman golfer. I thought she was funny. When you go on vacation, plan active vacations. So this one here, I did that last year I couldn't find my picture of me doing it, but it was so fun to go zip lining. I went sky gliding. I had them do, I bought the package where they were going to do aerobatics, and they're just flipping. I'm just end over end, and I at the end, but oh, I loved it. I love doing active things, and I miss going and doing those. So I need to plan some more really active things. One of the things that this guy talked about too was your morning routine. And again, this is habit stacking. The moment you get out of bed, do push-ups or push-aways. You don't even have to define the specific amount. Just drop down and give them some, or up against it. Habit stacking. Second I get up, I'm going to do some push-ups and drink 8 ounces of water. Stack those habits. When you go start your breakfast, do some plyometric jumps, or pretend skipping. When you brush your teeth, do some squats. Maybe even squat while you're brushing your teeth. And not with the electric one. Well, no, I'm still going to use my Sonicare, but because it does better on my teeth. If you're going to go out and get the morning paper, do a burpee. No, thank you. Oh, did I say that out loud? Evening routine. When you're going to go around the house and pull the curtains, do some deep lunges. If you're going to turn lights off, reach up to the sky and then down to the toes. When you're locking your doors, take a nice deep breath and do some hip flexors. Just simple, relaxing movements. And they're not going to jazz you, but they will help release some energy, and it'll help you to sleep better too. So in conclusion, 20 lean non-exercisers, okay? Lean people who are non-exercisers burned an additional 350 calories per day above their obese counterparts by standing, walking, fidgeting significantly more during the day. Increasing NEAT helps individuals resist weight gain after weight loss. These are all studies. Over 152,000 participants in a 7-year study concluded that 1 to 2 hours cumulative of NEAT per day resulted in a mortality reduction of 50 to 60% in women. 1 to 2 hours of NEAT exercise per day reduces it by 50 to 60% for us. Moving every 3 minutes for every 30 minutes, so it's that Pomodoro, moving, so I'll say 5 and 30 of sitting, lowers mortality and combats negative effects of sustained sitting. Using NEAT to move consistently throughout the day can help to sustain the LPL, which is a lipoprotein lipase. It's an enzyme that converts fat into energy, and it helps maintain your body's ability to burn fat. So all of those are incredible reasons for us to really investigate what can I do in my day to increase the amount of non-exercise activity that I'm doing and make that a habit. It takes 66 days to start a habit. So pick 1, pick 2, put Post-its around, put reminders around of things that you want to be doing. You could make a structural tension chart. You could find ways to increase the things that you want to be doing. What takeaways do you have for today? Who wants to go? Carrie.
I'll go. I am going to be putting into place the movement, work for a little bit, and move, and work for a little bit and move. And I like the Post-it note. Like, if you put the Post-it note in the bathroom where you're going to be brushing your teeth,
Right. You're more
your
likely to remember.
But I want it, for me, I want it to keep it fresh. I don't want to be doing squats every time I brush my teeth. So if I write down multiple different exercises
There you go.
Use from while I'm doing that and working on that habit stacking, it's really hard down in here in Arizona because it's so hot early in the day. I mean, we're having a massive heat wave right now. I have horses and I can't turn them out in the pasture because it's just way dangerous for them to be out in the heat that long. And so I started going to bed a little earlier, and I actually got up at 5 a.m. this morning, and I got so much more done.
Yay!
And my kids weren't awake and distracting me and things
Yay!
like that. And I was actually able to muck the stalls this morning before,
cool.
And I got to spend time with my baby horse and, that type of stuff. And so I'm finding that I'm a lot more productive in the morning. I am not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. But between working on my habits of sleep, being intentionally moving toward things that are going to be helping that, along with helping my son take his sleep a little bit more serious, I can't expect him to do it when I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I'm finding that if I try something out for a week and I kind of work the bugs out of it and work the kinks out of it and say, hey, this is going to work or this isn't going to work, and then I present it to my kids are more likely to, jump on board with that. And so, requiring that they do some of those exercises or all of those exercises before they get the remote, in order to to watch TV or things like that. So
Good idea.
I think rather than just giving my kids, you know, the office chair that I had for their homeschooling, I think I'm going to find more of the chair that I have, because I've literally been sitting on it for the first time today. I just picked it up today. I've had it for like an hour and I love it. I
Feel different.
You can feel the difference.
Yeah.
It's much, much better. So I learned a ton. Thank you.
You're welcome. This was fun to do. I love doing this. Sharon, have you got anything?
Well, I was going to say to Carrie, even though it's a ball on wheels, it doesn't slide around.
Oh, no.
You can push it if you want to, intentionally.
I'm doing this on the ball and the base is still. In order for me to get the wheels to move, I have to push off with my feet.
My daughter works at home. She's in Phoenix too, and that would be so good for her.
Yeah, I'm in Gilbert.
Thinking,
I'm just a little bit southeast of Phoenix, but
yeah, I think I may try and find one for my desk, because I always sit straight up. I mean, I've never been one to, sit back and do the typing. I'm always sitting forward, but
I find myself doing that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is making me kind of like when you're riding a horse, you really need a lot of core muscles. I'm feeling that I'm using those same muscles when I'm on a horse as if I'm sitting on this ball. And even though there is a back, I would have to move my behind really far back in order to get, let me see if I can do it. All the way back. Okay. That's really far. And so it's much more comfortable for me to just sit straight up and hold, and using those core muscles. You don't realize you don't have them until you need them and you're not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really helping. And with losing weight, I still have just a little bit of that extra skin on like where my left hand were and stuff like that. And the balancing act of going forward and going back and keeping me steady, that's going to help that extra skin and those little tiny bits go away. So I'm excited to see the results and how I feel with this new chair. I tried the standing desk. I was so excited. I did find a corner standing desk just like Teresa, but the desk where how my monitors are set up. So I'm gonna have to do some research and do something more, because I still do want to find a standing desk. That treadmill I think looks fantastic.
I love that.
That would be so fun.
And the bike. Sharon, was there more?
Yeah, well, I just need to keep in mind about just being more active, especially when I'm sitting at the computer. I'm not working every day, so I'm, but I've never really been a sitter. I have, without Ron, of course, I found myself sitting more at night after I've been doing stuff all day, or
you're tired.
I'll sit and, I turn the TV on sometimes, but I'm just playing games on the phone or doing something stupid. And, it just, there just is, that's the only time I really sit, but I sit a lot at my computer. When I do get in those, where I'm working on the computer, I don't get up and move. So I need to, set my little watch timer, my phone, and put it on so it gives me a beep that says, hey, get up and up and move. Get up and do something.
Maybe on your phone, what I did is just on my phone, have it set for half an hour. And then when it goes off, I just push reset rather than cancel.
Right.
So that it's already going. I do that with our fuelings. 3 hours.
I was going to say, that's what I did with my feelings, is do so that it reminded me to do that. So, yeah.
Well, good. Well, this is exciting.
I love this, Teresa. I learned so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm
glad that I came in today too. I mean, it was just, it was very, very good.
Well, it is nice to meet you, Sharon.
Yes, nice to meet you too, Carrie, from Phoenix. I was just down in Phoenix. I just got home late Monday night. My daughter had her 50th birthday, and she lives in Ahwatukee, Chandler. Yeah, that's where she is. So not too far from
Gilbert.
you. Yeah.
Chandler is just that direction.
Yeah.
and then Ahwatukee is on the other side. Actually, my husband works right on I-10, right on the border. 10 is what separates Chandler from Ahwatukee.
Right.
He's right there, so we're super close. So the next
Yeah.
time, come, stop by.
Come and stop
Well, there you
by.
go.
Stop recording, Teresa.
I have not yet. What I want you to know is that you know enough to coach somebody else. You know enough to help somebody else to be intentionally healthy, to move, to make steps, to move toward more health, more NEAT exercises, better water, better sleep. And I want you to know that you are so loved. You are so worthy. You are so powerful, and that you are the dominant force in your own life, that you get to make the choices about what you do. It just has to be intentional. And I will sign off. Thanks for joining us today.